come along today to meet Bryan from Raitong Organics Farms to find a little bit more about his business. Bryan, thanks for having us today. If we can just start with, if you can just explain to us, what is actually the difference between organic food and non-organic food?
Oh, that's a big question. I think the first and foremost thing that comes to people's mind with organic is really we produce chemical free, so we don't use chemical pesticides, chemical fertilizers, and we try to do things as naturally as we can. Really, organic agriculture is respecting natural systems, and if we can grow according to those principles, then we're doing a good job.
And how does organic food differ from, say, GMO food?
Well, GMO food is genetically modified, so what you would do in a laboratory is splice genes together and create differences in the plants. So certain traits would come out, whether it's pest resistance or drought resistance or things like that. That's really the primary difference between the two. The concept of GMO is a loaded concept as well. You got to remember that the process of hybridizing things, so what we've been doing for thousands of years anyway, is technically a GMO process. We are still playing with genes, but you are not physically going into DNA and splitting things out within a laboratory. I mean, what we prefer to say is genetically engineered, and that's really related to the laboratory. Everything else that we're eating is really a hybrid between one tomato and another tomato. So we get, for example, a red tomato and a green tomato come out and form a green zebra, for example. But it's still a tomato 100% through and through. So our business is, I mean, it's a business, but we're also blending in certain social and environmental elements there as well.
And so, speaking of customers then, what kind of things have you for offer at the moment?
The product that most people know us for at the moment on a retail side is the munching box, the CSA munching box, which is a weekly home delivery for organic fruit and vegetables, and it's seasonal produce. So we have 4 different types of boxes and 4 different subscription periods. The boxes are, the basic one is 4 kilos of produce. The other one is 2 kilos of produce and bread and eggs. And then another one of 2.5 kilos of produce and bread and yogurts. And then a purely fruit box. So what we're trying to do over here is trying to see whether it's possible to use straw bales, rice straw bales, as a growing medium for vegetables. And really our focus was on whether it's possible to grow things within the city in an urban environment such as this, where we have concrete or tarmac floors, and not have to use pots and soil all the time, which is really hard for people to lug around. So we use straw bales as a growing medium. It's a really soft base to grow on. It breaks down really quickly, and we'll add our soil and things onto this, a really light layer. So basically you're growing in pure compost. What we're trying to do over here is grow as much as we can in a small space as possible and as wide a variety as we can. So to give you an example over here, on these bales, which have been here for a couple of months now, we're growing chilies, parsley, mint, Japanese pumpkins, sweet corn, lemongrass, yard beans, just everything, basil, dill, sweet rocket, wild rocket, radishes, just all sorts of things at the same time. And we can do it in Bangkok, which is really cool. What this suddenly means for us, what I was saying before, in that I think the urban environment is potentially a very good environment for growing things in as well. We have to. Bangkok has got so much rooftop space, and we have to get more food grown in the city. We can't keep relying on the fact that we need to truck everything in all the time. It just does not work. And especially once we have protests and things like that, it blocks up everything. If we can produce in the city, it means all of a sudden we no longer have to harvest something a week ago so they can get into the shops a week later, and people only buy it 3 or 4 days later. So you have almost 10 days between harvesting and eating something, which is a very long time. Now we can suddenly go, if you want this now, I'll get it to you within half an hour. It's that fast. So you'll notice there's a significant difference in taste and quality all of a sudden. People will be eating what they should be eating. That's what we're going for. So thank you.